Now we'll find out right now.
Nope, if we have, I was not.
All right, so there will be a period of awkward silence
there
when
will
we
be.
open the floor.
Go ahead.
No, there's a packet there.
There is a packet. Just so I know, so we have the pledge. We have the pledge?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Didn't I stand up to do that once and you said no?
We'll nominate chair and
Right,
vice
and then
chair.
there's-
Oh,
Yeah. So
that's
you may
right.
need to
It
move if
was-
you don't win
I don't
the,
need to win that,
And then
so
there's
maybe I'll
the-
just start over here.
Thank you.
Okay. Not a
Maybe
problem.
figuring it all out.
I understand.
But can I steal this packet? I'll steal
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Mayor.
There's the flag. Yeah, so when we begin the meeting, I'll call the meeting to order. We'll stand up for the pledge, turn around, say the pledge, sit back down, and then call the roll. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
So Obi was supposed to be here, but
Yes.
6:35. All right, well, oh, this is my favorite part. I call to order the meeting of the Civil Service Commission, organizational meeting for 2020 at 6:35 PM. We will begin by reciting the Pledge of Allegiance, so if everybody would please rise. Anybody like to lead in the Pledge of Allegiance? Well, Alright.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Everybody, please be seated. All right, Madam Clerk, please call roll.
Wally,
present.
Ron,
Here?
Jamil,
Present.
Brian,
Here.
and Obi is not here.
Our first order of business is oath of office, the administration of oath of office for Wally Contreras. So Wally, if you would please rise, stand and face me, and raise your right hand. All right, I state your name.
I, Wally Contreras,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution and laws of the United States of America,
the Constitution and laws of the United States of America,
the Constitution and statutes of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution and statutes of the State of Ohio,
and the Charter and ordinances of the City of Gahanna,
and the Charter and ordinances of the City of Gahanna,
and that I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially
and I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
as a Civil Service Commission member for the City of Gahanna,
as a Civil Service Commission member for the City of Gahanna,
to which I have been appointed.
to which I have been appointed,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations, and thank you for your
Thank you.
service. We appreciate it. And those are for you to sign. One is for you to keep, and one is to go back to the Clerk of Council. All right. Our next order of business will be election of chair. I now open the floor to nominations for chair. Do we have any nominations for chair? This is the awkward silence I referenced earlier.
Ron, you were vice chair, right?
Yeah. I
So,
was.
hey, I think
I saw the looks going back and forth. I'm like,
I see a bright future ahead of
I see.
you. So I'll throw Ron under the bus.
Okay.
all right, so we have a motion by Mr. Wright to nominate Ron Davis for chair. Do I have a second to that motion?
Second.
Second by Ms. Jones. Mr. Davis, do you accept that nomination?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, do we have any other nominations? All right, I will close the nominations then at this point. So we have a motion on the floor to nominate Ron Davis as chair for Civil Service Commission. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Brian,
Yes.
Jamil,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Wally.
Yes.
Congratulations, Mr. Davis. You are now the chair of the Civil Service Commission for 2022, and I will turn the meeting over to you. So you get to
Thank
sit
you.
here.
The red is the
Yes,
cheat
sir.
sheet? That works.
I conveniently left that there for you.
Thank you. That's good. So I guess we need to open the floor to nominations for the vice chair. Do I have any nominations for the vice chair?
We nominate Jamil.
Oh, heavens. Okay.
Okay.
I second.
Keep going, this works. Okay, all right. So Jamil has been nominated and seconded. I have this motion seconded. Clerk, call the roll.
Wally,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Jamil,
Yes.
Ron.
Yes.
Right, I guess I should have taken that seat after all. Scoot up.
The company car you'll get out of this is really.
Right, that's the perk.
I guess we'll open the floor for discussions for the date and times of meetings.
Yes, and that is one of the items that we are going to discuss on the rules of procedure.
Okay.
The date, or the days of the meetings is up to HR and PD when they bring items forward to us, because this board is an as necessary and as needed board. So that's one of the reasons we're changing it. So we won't set the date
Okay.
of the next meetings or the remainder of the meetings. However, you can set the time. Your current rules of procedure say 6:30. And if that is not convenient for this board, then you can choose a time of your own. They will be on Tuesday evenings based upon the other meetings that the clerk's office has to clerk.
Okay. Does anyone have a preference for times, or is 6:30 okay, or do we need a motion to do that, or just,
Yes.
okay? Do I have a motion to make the meetings at 6:30 on the as necessary night, Tuesday night?
Move.
I'll second that.
Please call the roll.
Wally,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes?
Jamil,
Yes.
Brian.
Yes.
Okay. So Tuesdays at 6:30
Yes.
as needed.
As needed, correct.
If there's any further, if there's no further business, I would like to adjourn the meeting.
Second?
Yes, organizational meeting, state the time.
The organizational meeting is adjourned at 6:42 PM.
And then you're going to call to order the next meeting, which is your regular meeting.
Okay. I would like to call to order the Civil Service Commission's regular meeting, Tuesday, March 8th at 6:42 PM.
And I need to do roll call.
Okay.
Wally,
Present?
Ron,
Present.
Jamil,
Present.
Obie is not here, Brian.
Present.
So we're now going to have an addition under the new business for the rules of procedure.
Correct.
And are you
You
going?
just have to state that,
Okay.
like you just did, that's fine.
Okay. State it again, you're saying, or that was good?
No, you're fine,
Okay.
you're good.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes of the June 8th, 2021 minutes?
Do we have those?
I don't know.
What's the
Yeah, they're attached.
second? Is that correct? It's the one that's underneath the agenda? That's the minutes from
That-
last meeting?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from June 8th, 2021.
Do I have a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
You have a motion and a second. Can you call the roll?
Jamil,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes,
Wally,
Yes?
Brian.
Yes.
and the motion passes. Is there any unfinished business that anybody has?
No, sir.
If there's not, would the clerk please explain the changes of the rules of procedure for the civil
Okay.
service?
Sorry. Everyone has a red line version. There were a couple things that we discovered, and some numbering had to be fixed. So a lot of it may be grammatical and numbering that has been fixed throughout. The content item is on page 4, under Article 4 of Meetings, number 410. The red, meetings shall be held as required by law and/or as determined by the board. That is exactly what is in the BZA, and after speaking to the city attorney and clarifying with the administrator with Miranda Ballmer, this is what they would prefer to have in here, because this board is an as-needed board. So that is one of substance change. And then under Article 5, on page 5, item 510, we've added the word email, because we currently email all agendas. We no longer mail or deliver, but we don't know if that may come about at some point. The next change is item 5.12 under order of business. This is how we create the agenda. We need to follow an order of business. We realized that minutes were not being approved by this board, and the minutes need to be approved because sunshine law says we have to have the minutes. The attorney says the board has to approve their minutes. So that has been added to this, and then the numbering has been fixed since I've added that. Let me double check. I believe everything else, until you get to the end, and that's where it's being adopted, is the date of today, and then the new clerk's name added in there. Unless you have questions or suggestions, the document, we could not find a Word version of it, so we took it and converted it from a PDF to Word. So your version may look a little bit wonky in regards to the type, but I have corrected it on the final copy that will be signed by the chair of this commission. Does anyone have any questions or concerns? And this does have to be voted on.
Do I have a motion to approve the changes to the rules of procedure?
I move.
And do I have a second?
Second.
Please call the roll.
Ron,
Yes?
Jamil,
Yes.
Wally,
Yes?
Brian.
Yes.
The motion passes. Obviously, you'll have the final copy for me to sign.
Yes, I have one for you to sign, and then I'll email one to everyone.
Okay. So, working here to go to the official reports. Start with the Administrative Services Director.
And actually, I forgot to update that. I do apologize. The Administrative Services Director is not here, the Manager of Human Resources.
Okay.
And Crystal, I don't know what your title is, I'm so sorry. HR Administrator.
Can you hear me okay? My name is Melissa Jackson. I am the HR manager for the city of Gahanna. I'm Crystal Sherwood, HR administrator. So I wanted to start off this evening. I'm going to, we're going to kind of tag team this a little bit. I'm going to cover the non-safety positions and Crystal's going to cover the public safety positions. So I wanted to start off by reviewing the report that was sent in January. It was a lengthy report that was sent out. The date is January 11th of this year. And so the first page of that report lists the current staffing numbers as of that date by job title, by position there. The next page of the report lists a summary of the civil service testing that was completed during the calendar year of 2021. The middle portion of the packet will show results from our Sinclair advertising campaign that we ran during the month of January for our non-safety positions. We ran TV commercials, online streaming commercials, paid social media advertising, all those sorts of things. This was through Sinclair. They own Fox and ABC6 here locally, and then they have other affiliates throughout the region where this campaign was ran through. So those metrics are included in your packet. In February, we ran a similar advertising campaign for our public safety positions, and that was the primary focus. So we had two different campaigns running. The last few pages of the report shows the applicant flow for each of the positions that we will discuss this evening, so that report comes out of our recruiting system database that we use. All right, so if we kind of go back to the beginning of the report here, the bottom of page 2, I'm going to cover those non-safety civil service exams. So I wanted to note for everyone that in 2021, our Parks Department moved towards a more full-time structure. Currently, they were heavy part-time, so they decided to move more towards full-time opportunities. So having said that, we added a position of maintenance worker, and then we added a horticulturalist, and then we added another facilities maintenance coordinator. We already had one, so we added a second there. So moving on outside of the Parks Department, we backfilled a code enforcement officer. We had a resignation from our fleet foreman, so we ended up backfilling that with a fleet technician. We did not feel it was needed to fill at a foreman level, so we added a fleet technician. And then we added a position titled Senior Utility Billing Specialist, which as a lead worker for our utility billing staff. So it's a department of 3, and we promoted from within that department. And then we had one resignation and one retirement from the other 2 utility billing specialists in that department, so we ran a test to backfill for those 2. The civil service tests for these positions were written and compiled by Bowling Green State University. They have students there that work under the direction of a professor, and we partner with them to give them practical experience. And they wrote all the questions for both the written test and the oral board exam and provided those to us. So after we ran the tests, we have the score sheets for both the written and the oral board and sent them to Bowling Green, and Bowling Green did the scoring. Our eligible lists were established after the oral board was completed, and the eligible list was made up of 50% from the written test score and 50% from the oral board score to get their ranking on the list. And then that was the end of the civil service process for those positions. The table at the top of page 3 shows the vacancies that we filled in 2021. It includes safety and non-safety positions. Anybody have any questions on those positions at this point? Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Crystal, talk about police.
So jumping back to the report that Melissa talked about, I'm going to touch on police, our lateral police officer positions, and then our dispatchers. So a few months before our application period, which is February 1st to the 28th, we'll usually have a strategy meeting to go over kind of what went right and what went wrong, and try to create a strategy better for marketing with Sinclair, our third party. So then we open up the application period through the month of February. And then the first step from there is our written test. That's through a third party as well, through the NTN, which is the National Testing Network. So they take the test, they submit it to us through an invitation process, and then we compile their scores, and then we put it in our recruiting system. And then from there, once they pass that, they get invited to take a PT test, which is a physical fitness test. And so to get to that process, we offer YouTube videos to show them the process of push-ups, sit-ups, and the run, and how we score those, as well as the standards on our website all year round. And then from there, once they pass the PT test, they complete an oral board, which those scores comprise of 100% of the eligible list, which is scored through BGSU as well. So the top 75 from that list move on to the background process, which starts our selection phase from there. Just to give a quick overview of what our selection phase, then we do a pre-hire assessment through a third party as well, that does initiatives, decision-making, motivation, stuff like that. And then from there, we do a chief's interview, which is not scored, and then we pick our candidates from there, which we then do a psychological and a drug screen. So then laterally, we held 2 processes for our lateral police officers. They needed 2 years of experience, of continual experience as a police officer. And then they do a PT test, and that creates the eligible list from there once they pass that. And then we start our selection process. It's very similar to a regular police officer. And then for our dispatchers, we held 3 rounds of testing in 2021. Same thing, we had a marketing and strategy meeting just to go over how to create a diverse audience for our applicants. And then we had the same application window for all of February. And then where they differ, we do a third-party critical online testing. The first time we did it in person and found that it was pretty difficult to get people to show up and to work around all the schedules, since we wanted a big pool of good applicants. So we switched to the last 2 application periods, we switched to online, and we had a way better pool of candidates. After that, after they passed, all applicants go to the eligible list, and that's when we complete our selection process as well. And then from there, it's pretty similar to police. We do background, polygraph. Pradco, our third party, does the same thing, motivation, interpersonal skills, and work approach. And then we do a chief's interview, which is not scored as well. And then once we select someone, we do a psychological and a drug screen. Do you guys have any questions about that process?
How long is the process from doing all of those different steps from start to finish?
To hiring someone?
Yeah.
I'll have to look at what we did before. Yeah. February to October.
Okay.
So from February to October till you actually get somebody
Correct.
feet and boots?
Correct. Unless it's a lateral.
Okay.
So our plan is to hopefully create a lateral process for dispatchers as well to try to kind of create a better process for our dispatchers that are already dispatchers so they can start sooner. Any other questions?
I do have one.
Sure.
So knowing that process takes a while, how do you retain people in that process? Or do you have data, I guess, on that? On like somebody that starts in February to October, like do they get other offers? Like how does?
So I think what. Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Actually,
Okay.
I get an offer in our hand a month, 2 months before the academy will start work. For people people that don't have certifications, they have to go to the academy. There's only two academies in town, one usually starts in January, one in December. Usually it's the police academy. So we're hiring for December academy day for somebody that's not certified. So I've been in this game long enough to know that all the applicants are fighting the same pool of candidates. And so getting an offer in our hand, they'll take the first one they got that's a good quality organization, which Gahanna is. It's a very desirable community to work for, very, very good place to work. And so we try to get an offer in our hand maybe 2 months before the academy starts. So we gotta beat the timelines and other recruiters that are sharp with this too. So we try to finish our processes. We have aggressive timelines and we can, I know it doesn't seem like an aggressive timeline when you start a process in February. You don't end until October, but with all the steps in between there, it continually moves. We're having constant contact with those candidates to try to assure that when they want to be here, golf opportunities come by.
Okay.
Personnel, so they know, is this like an organization I fit in, or is this a community that looks like I want to work here? Is the equipment up to par? Is it providing, the technology and the needs that I have to be successful here, both in our communications center with our dispatchers and on the street with our officers? And so that is what we try to do, is maintain constant contact, and then also, show them a little bit of what we have to offer. We offer competitive wages, we have good contracts, and then get an offer in their hand 2 months before everybody else.
Gotcha.
We'll actually bring them in about a month before they go to the academy. So we want them to know that they work for us before they go to some other place for 6 months.
Valid point. Thank you.
So out of the process last year, there was just 2 in the lateral transfers that have been hired, or is there?
Correct, it's
been
in 3.
Okay.
Any further questions on that? Okay. I just wanted to wrap back around one more thing on the report. The bottom of page 3 is our planning for 2022. So we have the police officer and the dispatcher process that just closed last month in February. So we're working on next steps for those. Excuse me, we ran a maintenance worker test just recently. Those are being scored as we speak by Bowling Green. So we'll have a new list for the maintenance worker. And then our horticulturalist has put in his resignation, so we're going to do another round for a horticulturalist for the city. So that's on our radar for this year.
When was the horticulturalist hired?
When were they hired?
Yeah.
It would have been roughly April of last year.
Have you done exit interview to
It's scheduled. It's coming up.
schedule?
Yep, it's
Okay.
coming up soon. It just happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
Seems like a short turn for something kind of niche.
Yeah. Yeah, they're going back to a former employer where they worked before that has, kind of a crew, I guess, if you will, that they're able to lead. I don't know if there was, we have to get a little bit more information. I don't want to
Yeah.
speculate.
No, that's that's
Yeah.
fine. How, do you conduct 100% exit interviews?
We do. Voluntary resignations, yes.
You guys may have said this and I missed it. When the chief was here, or when we met last, it was about 9 months ago, there's 5 openings on the police department side. Now there's just a couple spots we're trying to fill. Are you guys allowed to hire in advance? Like, without even knowing someone's leaving, you can have a surge position, for lack of a better phrase?
We ask our membership voluntarily if any of them are planning on retiring. The city has graciously allowed us to hire against any retirements in most cases. Or if we know somebody's medically probably going to be leaving us, we're allowed to hire in advance. That has been a fantastic benefit.
But-
Last organization didn't allow that. There actually had to be a vacancy, which puts you 18 months behind.
Yeah. What, are you able to do even more? So that's just with retirements or potential disability. Are we able to say, hey, look, we got 50 cops, the average person stays 10 years, so that's, 5 a year, that's a new cop every 2 months. Are you able to play those games or no?
The issue for us comes down to money.
Okay.
So we know exactly how it's budgeted financially. We do an allocation report on our website every year that details based on work performance, how many calls for service we have, how many hours you spend on each call for service. It's very detailed, breaks it down to how many officers we need. We're on target, we're heading that way. Our problems are only vacancies. We've got 4 in Columbus Police Academy right now. We've got 3 that just finished laterals. So laterals has been a saver for us in getting people on the street. We would have been down 7 officers. Out of 35 on the street, that's significant, 15% of our staff. It affects our response time, it affects everything else that goes into what we did, especially for our calls for service. I'd recommend if you ever take a look at our allocation report, it's on the website, it'll tell you how many officers we need on a formulary basis, based on calls for service and how fast we can get them.
Thanks.
From a budget perspective, what is the value of each full-time equivalent based off of like a middle step or entry level? Or
It depends on where we're at in the hiring. We usually know when budget season comes around whether we've got applicants for the academies or we've completed the lateral process. We usually know by then what we're looking at.
so it's a little variable.
Yes, so even if by the time they put the budget together in October or November, we know whether we've got somebody going into the December academy, how many vacancies we anticipate. The next lateral process should be in February, which means we probably wouldn't even bring them on board until July. If they come in a little early, we could probably put them in July. So we know midpoint, we budget for this many officers in the higher level. We're try to mathematically split it, so you still meet your goal.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
And the next item is, at future meetings, you may wish to have something, the chair may wish to have something to share.
The chief doesn't have anything.
No, he is here if he's asked questions. Is that correct, DC? You're here in case people have questions, correct? Okay.
And
He's not on,
refreshments. He
he's
was
not
bringing
got a
refreshments.
position on the agenda.
Okay, all right.
And he's done a great
No,
job.
No, I thought he was on the agenda last time and we didn't have the meeting, but,
I'm sorry, I don't know.
okay, that's fine. Okay, I'm sorry, so, with no further business, I can join the meeting, or do I have to have a vote for
You're
that?
going to poll the commission for comment, and you ask each member if they have a comment. You just go down your row.
Okay. All right, start on my left, Mr. Wright,
I have no comment.
ma'am,
No comment.
sir,
No comment.
that was good.
No further business, you can adjourn.
Okay, with no further business in front of us, I now adjourn the meeting at 7:07 PM.